What do you do when you pray with all your heart, but heaven is silent? When you're surrounded by blessings, but none of them are yours? When your womb is empty, your rival is laughing, and your heart is breaking? Would you still trust God, even when it hurts? This is the story of a woman who didn't fight with fists, but with tears. A woman whose silent cry reached the ears of heaven. Her name was Hannah. In the hill country of Ephraim lived a man named Elkanah. He was a respected man, a worshiper of Yahweh, and he had two wives. One was named Peninah, the other Hannah. Peninah had children, sons who ran through the halls, daughters who danced and laughed. But Hannah, she had none. In those days, not having children was considered a disgrace. A woman's value was often tied to her ability to give birth. And so Hannah lived under the heavy shadow of shame. Year after year, they would journey together to the city of Shiloh to worship God at the tabernacle. But for Hannah, these trips were painful, because Peninah used them as an opportunity to mock her. Every time they traveled to Shiloh, Peninah would find a way to wound Hannah with her words. "Oh, Hannah, are you resting again? Must be easy with no children to care for." Her laughter wasn't joyful, it was cruel. The Bible says in 1 Samuel 1 verse 6, because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. And it wasn't just once. Verse 7 says, this went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. And Elkanah, he loved Hannah. He gave her a double portion of the sacrifice to show her his care. He would sit beside her and say, "Hannah, why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Am I not more to you than 10 sons?" But even love can't always reach the deepest parts of our pain. Hannah didn't need comfort, she needed a miracle. One day in Shiloh, after they had eaten and drunk, Hannah stood up. She couldn't take it anymore. She didn't go looking for Peninah. She didn't argue. She didn't scream. She went to the only place where hope could still live, the tabernacle of the Lord. There near the entrance, she fell on her knees and began to pray. But her pain was so deep, words couldn't come out. Only her lips moved. Her heart was crying, her soul was bleeding, and her tears were the only language she had left. She whispered, "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life." 1 Samuel 1:11. This wasn't a trade, it was surrender. She didn't say, "Give me a son so I can feel better." She said, "Give me a son, and I'll give him back to you." As she knelt there, pouring out her heart, someone was watching. Eli the priest saw her lips moving, but heard no sound. He didn't understand. He walked up and said, "How long will you keep on drinking? Put away your wine." But Hannah looked up, her eyes red and swollen. Her voice shook as she said,
"Not so, my lord. I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord."
Eli paused. This wasn't a drunken woman. This was a desperate one. He softened and said, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." And something happened right there. Hannah didn't get pregnant that moment, but the Bible says she went her way and ate something, and her face was no longer downcast. 1 Samuel 1:18. She came in broken, but she left with peace. In time, the Lord remembered Hannah. She conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Can you imagine the joy? The first time she held him, the way she looked at his tiny face and remembered every prayer she ever prayed. But Hannah didn't forget her vow. She knew Samuel didn't belong to her alone. He belonged to God. When Samuel was old enough to be weaned, Hannah packed her bags, not to hide him, but to bring him to Shiloh. She brought sacrifices, she brought the boy, and she brought her promise. Standing before Eli, she said, "Pardon me, my lord. I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." 1 Samuel 1:26-28, and she left him there. Imagine that. She gave away the very thing she prayed years for. But Hannah didn't leave empty. She left fulfilled. Because her surrender had become her legacy, God saw her faith, and He honored it. The Bible says, the Lord was gracious to Hannah. She gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. 1 Samuel 2:21. And Samuel, he grew up in the presence of God. He became a prophet, a leader, a voice that would shape a nation. All because one woman chose to pray when it hurt and surrender when it was hard. But Hannah's story didn't end with answered prayer. It blossomed into praise. She returned to the tabernacle, not with sorrow this time, but with a song. A song not just for her son, but for the God who lifts the lowly, who sees the broken and remembers the forgotten. And in that holy place, her voice rose like incense. My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies, for I delight in your deliverance. There is no one holy like the Lord. There is no one besides you. There is no rock like our God. Do not keep talking so proudly, or let your mouth speak such arrogance. For the Lord is a God who knows, and by Him deeds are weighed. The bows of the warriors are broken, but those who stumbled are armed with strength. Those who were full hire themselves out for food, but those who were hungry are hungry no more. She who was barren has borne 7 children, but she who has had many sons pines away. The Lord brings death and makes alive. He brings down to the grave and raises up. The Lord sends poverty and wealth. He humbles and He exalts. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes and has them inherit a throne of honor. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's. On them He has set the world. He will guard the feet of His faithful servants, but the wicked will be silenced in the place of darkness. It is not by strength that one prevails. Those who oppose the Lord will be broken. The Most High will thunder from heaven. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to His king and exalt the horn of His anointed. This was not just a prayer. It was a declaration, a song of a woman once forgotten, now remembered. A woman once mocked, now vindicated. A woman once barren, now a mother, a worshiper, a legacy bearer. Because when Hannah gave God her sorrow, He gave her a song. And when she gave Him her son, God gave her a prophet. And the world has never been the same since. So maybe you're like Hannah today. You've prayed, you've cried, you've waited, and heaven feels silent. Don't give up, because God sees your tears. He hears your whisper. The same God who remembered Hannah still remembers you. Sometimes the most powerful prayer isn't the loudest one. It's the one said in brokenness and faith. And that is the story of Hannah, the woman who gave her son to God.